Hey guys, today we're taking a look at the Xbox 360 Slim. This is actually a model that I got from a friend of mine. She wanted a Super Nintendo, so I gave her a Super Nintendo and she gave me one of these in return. So today we're going to take it apart and I'm going to show you how to clean it as well. Now for the Xbox 360 Slim you are going to need a flathead screwdriver. You do want one that's a little bit long to give you leverage because there's a lot of prying involved. However, you're also going to need a smaller one for precision. In order to actually get into the bottom case and the hardware itself, you are going to need a T8 hex screw. And depending on, if you want to take the disk drive apart, you are also going to need a standard Phillips screwdriver. First thing you want to do is take out the hard drive. So you just pull this here and just lift that straight up. And that's just a plastic piece, so we can throw that in the soapy water. And then just pull out the hard drive. And that'll come out easy like that. So we'll put that to one side. And then we'll continue by taking off this little plastic cover. Just peel it straight up. And just be careful not to break any of those little legs there. Just throw that in the water as well. And we'll do the same on this side. And this is where it's helpful to have one of these. So just go in from the side here, just to go between the chrome and the plastic. And we'll see if we can wedge this in there. There we go. And then just very gently lift that up. There we go. And then gently pop that out as well. There we go. And we'll throw that in the water. And you can see some of the innards here. So next step is going to be a little bit more tricky. There's another plastic cover here and another on this side. And we're going to pop that out as well. And basically the way it's supported, it has a couple of pegs in the corners and then a couple of feet along the perimeter on both sides. And it's really hard to break those legs, so especially the corner ones. So just be very careful and use this as leverage. So I wanted to just make a quick jump to this point just to give you an idea of how these tabs are in your system. So you can see here that they're just wrapped around these little prongs here, and you've got this on the top. Now there are people who are able to basically just go in through here, and well, it helps if you get the correct one. So in through here, you can see you get into that and you can get this whole thing out using that technique, but I'm showing you how to do everything, so to take off the plastic lid and the chrome cover. But just to show a little bit better here, for these you can either go on the side and just peel that up, or you can go through the middle here, and that's what the technique uses when you go through these holes right there. So there's two possible ways to do this, but I thought this might be a little easier to understand how this is actually laid out. So I'll try to show here. You can just use these as a guiding hand, just to pop there's going to be like a foot. Let's see if we can find where it's at. Okay, so there's one over here, I think. Yeah. So let's just pop this here. There you go. So you can hear that pop. And now that we've got a little leverage, we can go in with the screwdriver. And this is why it's good to have, you know, a longer screwdriver since there's more leverage. There you go. And we'll just keep on trucking, just very carefully. There we go. And I'll show you once I have this out how it's actually connected so you can get a better understanding. So I will just keep on going around it. Okay, so here you go, you can see that there are a couple of holes here and they correspond to these feet, but as you can see they're wider at the bottom than they are at the top, so that's why it's a real pain to get them out, and that's also why, you know, they're easily breakable. You also have these pegs here that are connected on this side. So you want to pop these first, then you can just kind of slide this thing out. And again, we're just going to pop that in the water and then do the same on the other side. So here you go, same thing here, you got those rivets all along here, and then the bottom piece you can just slide up once you've taken those out. Now both of these broke off on mine, so you know, it'll still be attached when you reattached everything, but as I said, it is really easy to break those legs, so just keep that in mind, just be very gentle, okay? Now, with the plastic out of the way, we can then take the chrome details off, and you'll see right here that it has like a little lip or connector that goes down. There's going to be 3 over here, and then there's also going to be 3 down here. And again, using this is really helpful. You just go underneath and just loosen those. So you can see I've loosened a few of them, so you just keep on going. It's really tedious work, but you know, having a long screwdriver is super helpful here. So you just wedge it under and then wedge it up. There you go. So once you've taken all of them out, you can just lift that aside, and you can see here these little pegs that I was talking about and how you kind of have to go down at an angle like this and then just kind of pry those loose from the back. So you just push against the case and pop those suckers out. Really tedious, takes a lot of time, but you know, you'll get it done. And then we'll flip this over again and do the same on this side. So there's one right here that's really difficult to get to. That's why having a smaller one is super helpful, because it'll be able to get into those hard to reach places. And then there's one more over here. So, there we go. So that's that one. We'll throw that in the water as well. And we'll continue our way down the rabbit hole. Just real quick, wanted to show you these. So those are the legs that broke off. So you can see how it's actually a rivet. So it's going to be a lot wider at the bottom than it is going through the hole. So you know, it's, unless you're extremely lucky or extremely careful, you are going to break some of the legs in the process, so just be careful, okay? Now you may have noticed that this card is right here. This is actually the wireless card, and it's attached with a T8 hex screw, so you're going to need one of these just to take that out. So we'll get in there and just screw that out like so. And that's just a simple USB, so you know, that just slides right out like that, and you can put that on to the side for now. Now, after you've taken away the wireless card, you'll notice on the side here that there are a couple of clips, and just like the chrome plate, you just, you know, lift the tab to release those. But there's multiple. There's two here that are easy to see, but there are several more down the side here and on the faceplate itself, and you need to take all of them off. So I think the easiest for me is to just take them all out. Maybe show you some highlights of the more tricky one. But you know, when you have the halves there, it's easier to show you where they are, because it's kind of hard to see, because the only two you can see right here are those two. But just like the chrome, you just go in like this, and just release them. Just like that. So that's all you have to do, but you have to do it on all the points. Okay, so I'm working on the back here. You can see that there are two on this side that are loose. There's also going to be two here. There's one right over the power cable, and then there's one here. Now you can see here that both the tabs are on the same side, so they're easy to get out, not to mention that you actually have access to them from here. These two, however, are actually inversed. There's one going this way, and then the other one is going that way. So the place to get it out is actually underneath this sticker, which means we have to remove the sticker or go through the sticker, but you know me, I don't like to destroy stickers, so I'm going to loosen that up, and just using a hairdryer and tweezer to peel that off. Now at this point you'll actually see here that it opens up a little hole, and that's where the pin is. So just take a needle and just pinch that in, which will release that tab. So there we go. And then while that is pinned open, we're going to take this and pry that one open as well, and you can see that the whole thing just pops out like that. There should also be a void sticker right beneath it, a tiny little one. This model didn't have it, so someone's taken that off at some point. So let's just pop this open, and you can see here how those two are inverted from these two. So you do need access to that. You could also just poke through the sticker if you wanted to, but you know, make sure you find the hole. And now that you've got that loose, you can then just flip it over, and you can see you just lift that piece off entirely. So that's as easy as that is. We're going to reattach the sticker. Zoop. And there you go. So no trace of foul play there. And then this is just a piece of plastic, so we'll throw that in the water. So now that we have the bottom plate removed, we can then continue with the front plate and also a little bit in the back. So let's just do this part first. I find that easier. You just pinch up, and you can use this to kind of leverage in there and get all of those pieces loose. And once you have all of them loose, you can just take this piece and just slide that out like that. And that's just another plastic piece, so we'll throw that in the water. Next up we have the front piece, and I just wanted to show you here that you can see right here it does have a power cable that connects to it, so you have to be careful when you take this off. And you just want to be generally careful when you take this off. It's got the same kind of connections just like here on this side, so just very gently try to twist that so that it comes loose. And you can see here I got one of them out, and the other one is down here. And then we've got one down here, and something snapped. So there we go, and there we go. So that loosened all of them, and as I said, you had the power cable right here, so just be gentle with that because you don't want to rip this lining off. But we can just take that and let me show you here. So basically it's wrapped around the connector right here. So you have to peel that back, which will then expose the pin, which you can then just pull straight out. Just be very careful. And just use these small here to lift the edges so that you can just slide that out from the bottom there as well. So just like that, and you can see that little connector right here, so you just have to lift the edges off and down in order to get that out. And now we've got the front piece off. Now, due to this being electrical, we do not want to put this in the water. Instead, we're going to put that aside, and we're going to go over that with a Q-tip and isopropyl alcohol later. But now you're getting to the nitty-gritty. You'll actually start seeing screws coming out and revealing themselves. So we can actually start to get a further bit down, and don't forget to keep this for later. So now that we've taken the front off and the little back plate, we can then focus on taking the rest of the plastic casing off. In order to do that, we're going to start by taking 5 screws out. These are the T8 hex screws from before with the wireless. There's 5 screws. There's one here, one here, one here, one in the corner, and one underneath the Xbox 360 sticker. So I think we'll just start with that one, peel that back, and just take that screw out, and then follow suit with the others. There we go. Now that those are taken out, we'll flip the system over. And then just lift the side lid here off. That just lifts straight up. There you go. You can see it takes this with it, since that's actually connected right here. So we'll just take that off. Just use our pliers here. There we go. And then that lifts straight up, so we can throw that in the water as well to give that a good thorough clean. And now we got the side plate here, so we'll throw that away as well. And here you have the insides of the Xbox 360 Slim. So you can see there's a lot of dust accumulated right here. So you've got the disk drive, the power supply, and the fan. So we'll start with the disk drive that just lifts straight up. And I think I'll do this way so you can see that it has some connectors right here. So we just want to pull those out, just like that, and just like that. And then that's the disk drive itself. So we'll put that aside for now. Now, as for the actual unit itself, this is pretty much as far as you need to go. You'll have access to everything, especially with the duster. You can just blow out, and these fans here are easy enough to clean with a Q-tip. If you wanted to take out the actual hard drive, you'll have to take these screws out, but I wouldn't advise it because, unless it's broken of course, but it basically just breaks the seal of the heatsink and the CPU. So I really would not, recommend that. This is pretty much as, much down you need to go into your machine. So we'll put that aside for now. Instead, let's go back to the disk drive. So you can see here that they've actually added a little rubber seal around it. That's to stop it from vibrating. And actually, it's really nice. It's a nice little addition that they've done there. The rubber seal we're not going to do much about. We're just going to, put it at the side. But this has a lot of dust on it, so I'm worried about the actual disc itself. So I'm going to open this, and that's just a normal Phillips screwdriver. Okay, so I got the screws out, but you'll notice that it won't open yet. That's because there's a lot of extra steps you need to do in order to get this open. First off, you have to go through this warranty seal, so you just break through that with your nail. I'm not too concerned about stickers on the inside, it's the aesthetics on the outside I'm concerned about. Now, with that loosened up, you'll see that it's fairly loose, but it still sticks. and that is because we need to eject the disc tray. So you turn it over, you find this area, take your trusty pin and put it in. It's going to catch almost immediately on something, and you just push, and that is going to eject the disc tray. Then you just peel that out, and you'll see it's still stuck, and that's because this little rubber seal is around it just to cushion the impact, and that is over the seam right here. So take some thin screwdrivers and just go in between the glue. A little tip is to leave the top part, because we really don't need to take the whole thing off. We just need to take the bottom piece here and just go through with that. Just like that. Because once we have that loose, we can then lift this piece off. And there you have the insides of your disc tray. So we'll put that outside here and have a look at what we can actually see in here. So just to show you a little bit better of the disc tray. At this point you can get to pretty much all of the items in here, and you can do a really good clean. However, I want to check the driver belt, which is right here, and in order to do that I do have to take this entire cushion off. But if you're just going this far, I always advise just to leave this slip on. But we'll take the whole thing off. So just like that. And then we can lift this piece up and out. Just like that. That'll just slide right out. And that gives us access to the driver belt, which is right here. So I'm going to take that out just to have a look at it. And then just very carefully put this down. You do not want to scratch the lens. So you can see here that it's kind of, it's not the worst belt I've seen, but it is kind of egg shaped. So if you put it here, you have a little top and a little rounded bottom here. So I'm going to exchange that driver belt. There we are. And thankfully all Xbox driver belts are the same. So just bought these, I think it was 25 pack or something. And it'll last you a good long time. So we'll put that back. And just to compare the two, so you have the old one here and then a new belt right there. So you can see how much distortion that actually has gotten over the years. So we'll put this back. So there you go. So that's changing the driver belt there. Now that I have the disc tray open, I'm gonna dust it with this electric duster. If you do a lot of these are definitely handy. They do cost a lot, but they never run out. So I'm just going to run through that. There we go. So now that we've dusted that, we're just going to flip this over and slide it back into its casing. Just like that. And then We're gonna reattach the bottom here. So we'll just move that a little. And then here we are. Just like that. And then reattach the little rubber seal here, little cushion. Just push that in place all around. Just like that. And then close this down and screw in the screws again. Now with that done, I'm just going to go over this with some paper and some isopropyl alcohol. So I'm just going to take some paper, take the alcohol, and just clean off the dust from the outside. There you go. So that part is now as good as new. And of course the final piece is to put the rubber band on, and you can see that it's got 2 holes right there, and those wrap around those little pegs right there, so you just line it up and then just strap it over here. There you go. So that's easy enough just to align that properly. Next we'll go over this, and again we'll just use a Q-tip and some isopropyl alcohol due to the electric circuit right here, so we don't want to put any moisture on it. You can see especially here that it's really grimy. So we're going to clean all of that out. There we go, that's cleaned up nicely. So we'll move on to the next part. And this actually looks to be fairly decent. I don't see any problems with that, so I'm just going to leave that alone. Yeah, I don't see any need to go into that. However, I do see a need to go into this one, so I'm going to get my duster ready again. Okay, and then I'm going to clean this with a Q-tip and more isopropyl alcohol. Just so that we'll get the fan all nice and clean. Okay, well, things have dried up, so we're going to start putting everything back together again. And we'll actually start with the bottom piece, which is this one with the fan exhaust. Flip that over, take this little heat sink here, and we want this hole to align with this peg, and that fan to go with that fan cover right there. I find it easy to use just one of these and kind of get a hole on that pen so that we can align everything and then use that to kind of navigate. There we go. So we got it to fit there, and then just there we go. Sometimes you might need this just to kind of wiggle it in there, and sometimes it works nice, but there we go. Now we can take this and just set it aside for a second. That way we can focus on this. And take the disk drive and reattach that. So we're going to do the red cable first, going in here. Find that easier. So there we go, and then we'll do the other cable here. Just put that in as well. Which should be fairly easy. There we go. And then put that down like that. Bring out the lid and just attach that to the top here this way. There we go. Now we can flip that over, and you can see here that this goes on the outside of the frame. So same here, it just goes outside. Flip this over, and then let's do it this way. And then screw in those 5 screws from earlier with the T8. So after we've screwed all those screws in, we're going to take the front piece and we're going to attach that. First we have to attach the power cable here, and that goes to this. So let's see if I can turn this up so it's a little easier to see. So there you go. And then we'll just take this and over like that. Actually, let me flip it around like this. Okay, so hopefully you'll get a better view from here. You'll take the ribbon cable, you'll put it in there, and then take the loop around. It'll hold it in place. And while you got it there, you want to take this, and you see how it's got a little notch? Well, that notch locks onto that, so you want to have the notch facing the ribbon cable, and then you just slide that in, and just like that, and that's how you attach that. So now we can take this and just wrap it over this little thing here. And you remember these from before, so just want to get those in there and latch on just like that. So that's easy enough. So with the front piece, we can now take this cover plate and put that in its correct alignment on the back here. So that just slides underneath here. And just to show you here, so you just align these holes right here. So like that. And then just slide it into its holes here. There you go. Now that you have that in place, you can take the next piece, which is this, and just slide the back piece into these hooks here. So just like that. And then the actual back here will just snap into place. Just like that. So now that we got the outer ring on, if you like, we can start doing the actual sides. So let's start over here with the hard disk drive. And we'll start with the chrome casing. And that is going to go on like this. You can see that there are 2 pegs here and 3 pegs on the back, and those correspond like so. So you just push that in, and then you just want to make sure that you get it into this groove track around the side right here. So it should be a seamless connection. There we go. With that in place, we can then do the plastic cover, and that's going to be just sliding over like this. And here you want to do these parts first, so you do the pegs, slide those in like that, and then you'll push this piece in and just snap everything into its correct alignment. There we go. Now that's in place, we can then take these pieces and just pop those on. And we can also take the hard disk and just slide that in here as well. And then seal that in. Just like so. And we'll do the other side. And of course this is with the wireless. So we'll just put that in its USB slot. Take the screw and our T8 hex. and just screw that in place. Follow that up with the chrome plating. Just align that properly. So that is going to be like this. And again, just make sure that you're putting this in like so, so you get a seamless connection around the perimeter. And then we'll do the next cover. And again, we're going to start by taking these taps and pushing in to their respective holes. And then push the rest into their holes. Just snap the whole thing into place like so. And follow up with this one here. And you can also tell really easily you got one connector here, two connectors over on this side, so it only goes in one way. Just put that in like so. But of course we're not done until we actually put some orange pledge on it. So there we are. There you go. Good as new. Hey, I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching my video, and please like, comment and subscribe. Also, if you are interested in buying any of these consoles that I'm showing you how to take care of, I sell all of my consoles through my own website. I'll put a link in the description below. I'll sell them through the forum, but feel free to join up on the site itself. And again, thank you so much. Also use the affiliated links down below to buy your own stuff. It really helps me out. So thank you so much.